Some claim that the age of a true gentleman is far behind us, but here at Tweet4 Media, we disagree. Some may appear in different guises today, but the values and ideals that make them a gent still stand. Gentlemen, aspiring gentlemen, and of course, our partners that hold us down. Welcome back to Season 7 of The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, a show that is poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. Now don't worry, it's not always about suits and bow ties, but instead, real-life lessons that truly translate to grounded, community-minded, well-rounded men. Thank you all for taking this amazing journey with me. As I said, we are in the heart of Season 7, and I think for the first time, I'm pretty sure I hit the jackpot. My next guest is a veteran in the construction field. The name is synonymous for standard and excellence. He is a giver, a family man. I'm speaking about the one and only, none other than the one and only James Todman. Of course, he speaks to us on his upbringing, the industry, the highs, the lows of an almost 50-year career within the construction industry. The best and brightest. Nothing like standard. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break. Brilliant Hands and Minds tutoring services, one-on-one tutorials in math and English, intense homework assistance, academic enrichment, school projects, effective communication and public speaking development, sign language for adults and children on Saturdays only. Registered with the Virgin Islands High School Certificate Program, Brilliant Hands and Minds can help you too. Offering intense curriculum-based training to help you or your loved ones get their high school diploma. It's time to make your family's education a #1 priority. Hurry, space is limited. Brilliant Hands and Minds Learning Center. We are the trained education professionals. Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for sticking with us. As mentioned, we are in the heart of Season 7, The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman. Joining me on the set is the one and only James Todman. Brother James, as they call you, Jamesy, welcome to the set, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me here,
Absolutely, absolutely. No, I would say that it was easy getting you here, but it wasn't. Based on your schedule and the fact that you are so still very much involved in your business, actively working, it was a bit of a challenge. But I called the boss and she made sure that you were here today. I'm honored to have you sit and join us in this conversation. In the introduction, I reference you as an icon within the construction industry, and that is exactly that. You have given of your time, your service, your expertise for almost 50 years, and your name is literally cemented in Virgin Islands history and regionally as well when it comes to excellence. First of all, thank you for your service and thank you for giving up so much to the BVI community.
You're welcome.
Tell me about your upbringing. The person that we would have gotten introduced to the construction industry. What was it like growing up?
Good day all, and I'm glad to be here with you in Season 7.
Yes, Season 7.
Yes, so I'm here. My boss is Janelle. When she said, "Daddy, you have to do this," I can't say no.
You just show up.
You have to show the young folks that, you recognize them and you understand, in the life you live today. My name is James Todman, which everybody, not a face and not a hair. My upcoming wasn't always that bright.
Okay.
But I give God thanks to it at today. Growing up, I didn't finish high school. I didn't reach the high school, not finish. I didn't get there. I came out in class 5. And at that time, you couldn't get to high school because I didn't pass the primary 5 exam. So I went on to Scott, spent a year there, and then I came out, my uncle, Milton Smith. I went out to law and traded him 1976 in the school building of the school, Carl Bay.
Okay.
So even though I didn't reach high school, I still was
still in
law
high
in a
school.
trade by a school.
Right.
Which today pays off.
Absolutely.
And, I worked with him there, building that school from April to have that school ready for September. That's the school to the foot of to the end of Coward Bay.
Okay.
You take the hill,
Leonora
which
Delville?
Leon Delville, which you get destroyed. So that's where I learned trade in Coward Bay.
Okay. Now, you mentioned your uncle, but even in that time of not finishing school or only finishing up to a certain level, what was it like being surrounded by persons like your uncle, to have the ability to pull you and say, okay, well, you might not have finished school, but come with me. If what would you say your life would have been like if he hadn't pulled you to walk with him?
In all days of growing up, and it's not like today. You yourself wanted to do certain thing in order to have some kind of income.
Okay.
So if I didn't went with him, I still wanted to do something, cause in all growing up, I raised up in the yard there with 88 and meat and calving and building rollers. General also, we build the rollers as children. So I guess I had that little trend of doing a little carpentry in the early days, So I still would do something. But
Understood.
I give my uncle thanks and also Louise Malone. She's the one that I raised with,
Okay.
and she is the one who take me to my uncle for me to learn a trade.
Understood.
So
When we look at the ability to, if you want to say, make it or be successful irregardless, a lot of persons are easily discouraged because they don't have a formal education. What would you say to the young man or young woman who is watching and for whatever reason they were unable to finish school? What would you say to them?
everybody is not going to come out on the top in certain areas in the education system, but some of us is good with our hands. And to able to get from here to Sydney, somebody had to build that boat. An engineer, all those things come by hands and your brains also, but you
Correct.
also have to stay focused on what you want. You got to set your map and stay where you want to able to be successful. I always use the term, don't put money first. Money will come. If you put that first, you're not going to reach where you want to get. Stay focused. You want to learn a trade. If it's carpentry, stay focused on carpentry. In all growing up, we do a little bit of plumbing, you do a little bit of electrical because construction, sometimes you don't have the carpentry in that you could. So an electrician will hire you maybe to help him with some pipe or something. But you grow up getting to know a lot of those things, a little plumbing. I did a little plumbing. I always remember a joke when I put up some spouting for my aunt. I know I doing a good job. When the real plumber come, he said, well, who put up
You
these
thought you were doing a good
bracket?
job.
Yeah, I thought I was doing, like now I was doing a good job.
Okay.
Because the intent.
Okay.
And he said, but I put the thing upside down.
Mm.
Then I started getting silent before I was bragging that
You're
I put them
confident.
up.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you learn from that.
Absolutely.
And you don't let that keep you back.
Understood.
Your next time now, you'll do it a lot better.
Do you think that we're giving enough time and attention and perhaps even investment to the trade industry in the Virgin Islands?
Or a lot of our young people, I always talk to Diane about it, Diane Stout, that a lot of our young people is not following it, which is sad.
What do you think that is?
Most of the young people today, they want, in simple word, they want a lot of things they want it now.
Okay.
It take me several years to get where I'm at. In the construction industry, I is about almost up to 40 years. You understand? Before in the 40 years I talking about is actually owning a company.
Got you.
You
were in it
understand?
before, yeah.
But I did before. I remember walking with a center Scatliff right behind there, building Bentwood School, building desks, building the blackboard and all those things. Before I went in, I walked with my uncle. And as I said, it wasn't about the money. You wanted a trade. You didn't reach to high school. You don't want your friends and your brothers or your sisters and all them go leave you.
Right.
So you stay focused that you got to come to be something. And I went into the construction and today the light is there.
Absolutely.
The light is
the
there.
legacy, the
It's
impact.
there.
You cannot drive very far on Tortola. on Virgin, go to any sister island without seeing your work,
Yeah.
without knowing that's James E. And a lot of persons specifically are very keen when considering, you're going to get value for money when you hire James Todman Construction. I want to talk about that for almost 40 years of your company. What would you say are some of the challenges that you would have faced over that time, and how were you able to get through them?
You have to be committed. You have to build relationship. And building relationship and being committed, I will always use the term, you can't worry about the dollar.
Okay.
If you worry about the dollar, a lot of time you'll fall short. In the construction, I get opportunities to do little addition for people. Sometimes you give a cost, you know what you're gonna make. When the job done, you guys put in.
Correct.
It less as it is, but you stay focused, you don't walk away. Because if you walk away, you don't get the opportunity to do the next thing. The person that you walk away from may not say you're not a good person, but the question will ask, I saw James, he there building that, but he didn't finish it. Why? But if you stay and finish it and then argue afterward about the difference you need,
Yes.
you don't light a light because people see you finish it. But if you walk away, you could explain the wall why you walk away. That's not what they want to hear. You never get that project finished. So you have to stay there and stay focused. Down the road, you'll see the result. And I could testify to that, to where I reached today. As I said in the audit, I didn't reach the high school. You know, I struggled through it, but today I get it. I remember the years when it didn't have much thing to do. I went and I picked peas. I picked peas to make a depe by a neighbor in Huntersgut. You know, your lawn and masonry, Alfred Farrington, which is Ferry, you know, he showed me a lot in the mason work. Elroy Franklin came back here and he was a very top carpenter contractor, and you watch what he doing in your lawn. Had a guy named Columbus. I remember one day when he said, James, you can't read the tape. You could build any house? I didn't answer.
Wow.
He said about a quarter inch to a foot. Mean measuring the scale in the drawing. And when he said that, I went home and I take a tape and I put it against the measurement on the plan. And when you see 12 feet, you're not out a quarter inch, you could conquer it. Now when you reach to 3/8 and 5/8, it's a little more complicated. But as you go along.
Absolutely.
And in my industry, I might have not been the top carpenter, but there's one thing I do. I hire fellows who is the top carpenter. They may not know I know all of the trade in it.
Right.
But you stay around them.
And you hire the best.
You hire the best. You try
Absolutely.
to keep them because you want to shine and you can't shine by yourself.
Is there anything looking back on your journey that you would have done differently?
I always tell people that I gotta give God thanks that I get this far and I didn't had a lot of mishap in that sense. But the mishap that I may have might have been running short of funds. But you won't know.
Right.
You won't know because I trying to build a relationship that down the road, I could tell somebody when I did that job I didn't make anything. But if I tell them no, in the early going, you'll discourage them.
Agreed.
So you can't leave a lot of them know where your fall is.
Your
but
difficulty is, yeah.
Right, because some of the time people, you know, I talk to contractors, young fellows, and, you know, I remember saying to one of them that you walk off a job, that's not good. The public don't want to know what you walk off. They know you didn't finish it. But if you finish it, now there's consequences that time you may not able to, but still do your best.
Understood. I wanna talk about that wisdom that you have always been very so ably and willing to impart when it comes to succession planning and when it comes to persons of a certain age like yourself with experience. Do you think there is enough level of sharing of wisdom, sharing of knowledge, sharing of expertise to the younger generation? And if so, are they receptive? Are they listening?
You have to have interest in what you want to do, because if you don't have interest in it, we could speak from now till judgment.
Got you.
You have to have interest in what you want to do, and that's one of the things I tell young folks, the young people. Like I will say to workers, I could show you a lot of things, but I need to know if you're interested, because I could be showing it to you and you're not interested. One of my workmen said to me a few weeks ago, James, why don't give me your brains? We here trying to get this thing and you just come and said do this. I refer to him, it's a gift. It's a gift, because when I get on site, I could say do this, do that. I didn't went to school to do carpentry. I didn't went to school to learn to manage a project. But coming up the hard way, it make me what I am today.
Understood.
You see, and some of your things is you can't show it all. When I say can't show it, you have yourself how to have that interest to get where you want to get.
Agreed.
You understand? It's many people in this community that take years to get where they is. Today, most of the young people think that we get there overnight. It's not like that. But you of yourself have to have that interest is where you want to go.
Understood. One of the things that I absolutely love and appreciate about you is the fact that you wear your faith on your sleeve. You have never shied away from um, being a lover of Christ, um, outside of being an Adventist and giving in ministry. We are Rotarian brothers. We're both members of the Rotary Club Sunrise. But I want to talk about that faith, that very strong rooted faith that you have. How long have you had that relationship with Christ?
When I was 12 years old, I remember the Adventists had a crusade out here by Village Key. And I tell my aunt Louise that I gonna get baptized tomorrow.
Okay.
She asked me if I sure. I say yes. And I get baptized at 12 years old, 1973. 1973. So that's a long time. But as you get a little older, you come out in this world.
Yes.
You enjoy a little bit of the world. But I went back.
You stayed.
I went back, I was not active in a lot of things, but I went back.
Understood.
I hit some challenges about 2 years ago, and then I actually resigned from some other position because,
Understood.
With certain challenges, I don't think is right to stand up, in the front of a congregation and pretend. I put it that way, pretend. And I'm not that type of person. So I prefer to resign and leave it at that, because I could be pretending, but the master above knows.
Knows and sees.
You understand? And I'm not going to do those type of things.
When it comes to your authenticity, and you mentioned the stepping down, having some challenges and then stepping down, not wanting to pretend, but that doesn't affect your relationship with him.
No.
And I
The
want that to be
one-on-one
known,
with Christ is you. You understand?
point,
When I
yeah.
say that challenges, I'm not going to stand up and take a position in the church knowing that of myself I'm not what I should be.
Correct.
You understand? I'm not going to do it.
Understood.
At the end of the day, Ron, you yourself, me, myself, and everybody have to stand for
Give
themselves.
an account.
Yeah, you can't give that for me.
Understood. Whenever we call you, it doesn't matter what the project is, as it could be as simple as constructing outdoor libraries. It could be as simple as putting up some peace poles. It could be as extensive as redoing the pantry at Althea Scatliff. You always give of your time and services for honestly next to nothing. We never get an invoice, we never get a bill. Tell me about that longing and that urge where you always find a way to give back. Where did that come from?
It is within me, and I have to give God thanks. I got to give him that praise, that I'll go back to years ago. I remember one year, me and my wife was in Puerto Rico, and she went into a store, and I see some things, and I said to her, there's some people who are good to me in my life and my coming up. You may not know because, you meet me. And when I take those things, I pay for them, bring them, and I said to them, to my wife, I'm going to give these away. Because in coming up, my mother didn't have it. And there's some people who give her things in order for me and my brother, which he died actually, that we were able to eat and drink. And those are things I never throw behind on me. You wasn't always where you're at. You come from a humble beginning. You come from a beginning where you may not, where I came up many nights you were hungry.
Yes.
You understand? Many nights. So I know of people giving. So it filled my heart to do things. And as you hear me say earlier, don't put money in front. People will, you'll get it back. The Bible talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you will get it back. So the giving of me, as long as I can. Sometimes I couldn't, but I still give.
give, yeah.
And I being blessed by it.
Amazing.
Yeah, I being blessed by it.
There are a lot of young people in the Virgin Islands, and sometimes we tend to, because we are such a, in some cases, a very prideful people, and we are, in many cases, not second to any, but there are a number of persons, young persons, I see and experience it every day, who are having the life you had when you were a boy, the difficulties, that level of difficulty that you were born and raised in, and they are in it now, many of them. But that doesn't have to be the end of the story, because if you compare your very difficult upbringing to the man that you are now, it's night and day. And many persons perhaps would have never imagined that this would be James Todman today. What do you say to that young boy or girl who is, in, for lack of a better word, they catch in hell? Parents are absent. Their upbringing is just it's shaken to the core. What do you say to them at this point?
One of the things when I always said to friends of mine that a lot of your life is your surrounding. Your surrounding. And it have to also be of you. I been in surrounding all kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, I didn't know of a father at that time. My mother was not in a position to do certain things, so I had to able to go out and make ends meet.
Got you.
I didn't have somebody to go to say, give me this and give me that. Today, a lot of the generation have things make in place for them. So all they have to do is apply it. Yes, challenges will be there. You got days I's in my 60s,
Mhm.
and you got days you feel down.
Of course.
You understand? But you still got to stay focused. You got to stay focused and surround yourself with people who could give you encouraging word. I remember in learning my trade, you'll have a group who talking about last night. You have a group who talking about moving forward. I pull away from the group about last night.
Because it's gone. It's
Last
behind
night
you.
gonna always be there. You understand? I hanging with a group who talking about how you could own that piece of land, how you could build a house, how you could do something. And if you look back at history, a lot of our people at my age, in their coming out of school and things like that, graduating and all those things, they focus on getting a home. A lot of them, I could name many of them. But the generation today want everything now. There's a microwave wall.
Mm.
In my days, I had to boil the water to get tea. Today, in I will say in our days,
Yes.
while I that boiling the water, you drinking your tea, cause you
Yeah,
put a cup in
long
the
time,
microwave
long time.
and you gone.
Mhm.
So I know what it is to wait to get it boiled. You know what it is to me waiting there with James. I put it in there, I gone.
That's
So
it,
while
you
I ain't there
done.
waiting on it, you done gone.
Not just a tea, a whole meal.
The whole meal.
Yeah.
But I encourage young people, stay focused. Stay focused. You're going to have challenges. None of us could run away from that. And if with the challenges, it helps you to become strong.
Beautiful.
It comes a point where you'll have to be on your own. Father would not be there, mother would not be there. So it means that you got to stand on your own and stay focused.
Wonderful.
Prayer is essential to life. In the hours of the morning when the loneliness hit you, it's only loneliness of individual, but it's not loneliness of Christ. Take that little moment and ask him for that strength. In Psalm 27, it says, Wait patiently on the Lord, and He'll renew your strength, and you'll move from there.
Beautiful, beautiful. One of the things that I admire about professionals like yourself, and you talked about it, surrounding yourself with persons. You strayed away from the yesterday or the last night crew. Who are some of the people that you have surrounded yourself with over the years? Your peers, maybe not just in the in construction industry, but in order to be the best, you must compete against the best, and iron sharpens iron. You mentioned about our surroundings and making sure that you're surrounding yourself with persons who are going to pour into you. Who are some of the people that have and still pour into you?
I'll give you a little a joke and a
Sure.
history. I did this project in the back of us here, the fire station.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I remember when the job come out to bid, I said to Paul Watley, lay soul rest in
Mm-hmm.
peace, that the government had a job up the airport to do a fire station. They get a company out of Trinidad. You think they're gonna get a job like that to little Jamesy? That's how I put it.
Gotcha.
Paul Watley said to me, "Don't say it. Don't say that. You never know." When I bid on that job and I get that job, I understand the challenges was he's a young fellow and they don't think he could do it. And I wasn't in the room, but the little boards
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
said to me one day, Jamesy, Mr. O'Neill, they soul rest in Ralph,
Mm-hmm.
were very instrumental in helping me to get to where I'm at today. He said, give the young lad a chance, let him fail himself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I end up doing the fire station for the government, 1988, 89, in that range. Signing that contract when I went to the admin building, that time it was in the main street.
Okay.
The signing supposed to be 10 o'clock. I there from 9:30, sitting, and I saw the gentleman for the oil and sun.
Okay.
In and out, in and out, and Mr. Stanley Garden, lay soul rest in peace, saying he waiting on the contractor. And I just said the nonsense. I say, I the contractor, tis you, and you the. I said, well, they were looking for a man, not a little boy.
Clearly.
You understand?
Yeah. Could
So
be you.
I look at it and I say, well, look at little boy. Get an opportunity to do. And our job was about $1 million. You know? I know individual who encouraged me, it had who disencouraged me. But because I had a trade, I stay focused on getting it done. Win or lose, I want to get it done. And I get it done. And
So-
from there I was gone.
So let's go down a little history lane. The fire station would have been the first building you
Contract from government.
The first contract.
From government.
Okay.
I did a house in Wrong Hill for some folks in, I think it's Pennsylvania, Mr. Freeze.
That would have been the first one.
Yeah, and
Okay.
Daniel Klein. You got to give thanks and praise and honors where due.
Mhm.
I was there by the well sitting when Daniel Klein pull off in front of the Chevette building right
Yes,
there
yes.
and called me. And he said, Jamesy, these folks that I get along with have a house to build in. They asked me to get your uncle. I tell him my uncle gonna build it. I usually gonna do it. Cause what my uncle doing, which is Tojo Milton Smith, he gonna give me, say, okay. I went, I get all what I need, and they trust me to build their house. Some people from Pennsylvania, I stay focused on getting it done. I hire the best of the campers I could and get it done. And ran for years. For years. My body, they will come to the BVI and they'll bring a body card. Even if they come to the office and I'm not there, they leave it. If they don't come, they send it. And that was for years. And that's a blessing.
Beautiful.
Because how much contractors today finish job and the client and them get along.
Still appreciate them. Yeah. So that was the first one. The Pennsylvania couple. The first contract, government contract, was
The fire station.
Fire station. Which is the tallest building? Is it the Wheatley building? Is it which was the tallest building?
I think the Wheatley building is one of the
Okay,
tallest.
okay.
Yeah. And,
Is
that's
there-
done a few
yes.
few months, years ago.
years ago?
You know,
Is there any one of those projects that, and you have difficulties here, but which one of those projects might have been the most complicated?
One of the most complicated project was when I did the building for from Mac Vanterpool.
Okay.
When we did that foundation, the equipment, sink, and all that, because you had to go down in the bottom to do that, to put in a floor in the basement. You had to cut those piles all down there, and you only had 100% experience in
Understood.
that. But knowledge and wisdom is key. You know, and we get it done. Ashley, I said my father, my brother, my friend, you know, he assists in getting us out of there.
Understood.
You know, and today the building is over there.
Beautiful. I have some fun questions for you. Your favorite Virgin Islands cuisine. What's your favorite Virgin Islands food to eat?
It's a lot.
If you had to pick
I,
a pick a
I
favorite.
like a good boiled flatfish.
Okay.
Every now and then you could get that by Celly's, you know, a nice boiled flatfish. You know, I like dumpling, you know, a little fungi.
That's what's up. A favorite local drink.
Marby, you know, my Miss Root, you know, my aunt. You know,
Okay.
she make the Marby. We were living fence to fence. Cause I raised with them.
That's my favorite as well.
Yeah, Marby.
Favorite sister island.
Watching Garda.
Okay.
I have a business there also. I have some villas up there.
Wonderful. Yeah. If you could take someone from Virgin Islands yesteryear who's no longer with us, they passed away. If you could take them to lunch or dinner, who would that person be and why?
If my mother come back alive today, she'll be proud. If my aunt Louise come back today, she'll be proud. And many others I could talk about because they know where I start and they know where. And Louise Simika, the cable TV building before she passed, I was able to bring her and take up in the elevator. And I remember her saying to me, yes, yes. And she was very proud about it because she raised me.
The very same building that we're sitting in.
Yeah, but I will always give thanks to Mr. O'Neill because I understand in the room when everybody was saying
No.
he young, Mr. O'Neill said, and we wasn't friend, that kind of friend. So when he take the opportunity to give me that chance and I didn't let him down, if he was here today, I would say he'll be the one I'll take.
Okay. So those are good choices.
Yeah, he'll be the one.
Excellent
choices. I remember with the hospital, he called me. They need to get it finished. Don't answer. Those were his words. Get a couple days. He trusts me to go and get the hospital. The doctor land the hospital to White Hat today. I went and I meet with a company. I went to Pittsburgh, meet with them. That was first I was in a ball game, sitting on top in the houses and having fun, you know. And they're coming, we walk together. The last project we did together was Little Dicks, you know.
Amazing.
I had opportunity in the conduction. Romney Penn is a fellow that I'll never, you know, we sing a song, I'll never turn my back on you. Romney gave me the opportunity in the outer wall to understand construction. When I would say, I ain't going to do this, Romney, he said, how you ain't going to do it? If you don't do it, how you will know? Now I talk now big, not big, you know, but those were fellows who encouraged me.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you understand?
I want to take this opportunity. It's not the first time, but I want to take this opportunity publicly to once again thank you for your invaluable contribution in helping to move the territory forward through the construction industry and others. When it's all said and done, there is no doubt about it. The name James Todman Construction, will continue to be cemented in Virgin Islands history and heritage. You have selflessly given of your time and your talents, and you continue to enjoy the fruits of your labor, but most importantly, you are doing your part whenever you can to give back and to pour into the next generation. And for that, I don't think that we could thank you enough. So thank you for sitting on the set. Thank you for sharing, and may God continue to richly bless you.
In this whole legacy,
Mm-hmm.
my family were with me.
Beautiful.
Jamie and Janelle was small, but they ain't going to leave daddy. The Saturday morning when I get up to go, Janelle done dress, got on her boots, got on her hat. Daddy, you ain't going to leave me today. And they stay with me. Junior, he did the same. My wife did the same, you know? And I got to say a special thanks to them. Because if you don't have a solid family, things happen late in life, but you don't worry about that part. The
Yes.
coming is the key. And if you don't have a solid foundation around you in the coming, it can be solid later. It need to be solid early. And I want to say publicly a special thanks to Janelle, Junior, Jamie, and Athenia Todman.
Thank you
And
so
there were
much.
many others in between, but I want to say a special thanks to my family, you know, to be by my side and give God the thanks and the praise. And thank Grand for having me here.
Anytime.
I hope something that I said, you know, will be an impact to somebody's life
Absolutely.
and to somebody.
Thank you. God
You're
bless you.
welcome. Right.
Viewers, you heard it here from the icon himself, the one and only James Todman, who has been sharing his insight and a remarkable and indemnable career of service above self through his trade as a construction worker and now owning a company now for almost 40 years, James Todman Construction. I hope that you received something from this conversation. I sure did. I'll see you next week. Have a beautiful rest of the day. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, Season 7.